off, what had I drawn on the board? So what? A monosaccharide. Which monosaccharide was it? Which glucose? Which isomer? Alpha. Good. All right. So, yes. Yeah, you did. I didn't put a grade on it. For you, I put a grade on it for me. I Xeroxed them. No, it is not. All right, here we go. So, where'd it go? All right, here. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. All right. Hey. Shh. All right. So when we last left off, we had drawn this guy. All right. So we are going to make sure that we create a disaccharide now. So you know what the basic structure looks like. So now we want to create a disaccharide. The word di means what? Two. So since we're working in the carbohydrate category, we're going to make a disaccharide, okay? So we need two sugars. What we drew the other day, we said was alpha glucose, so we can either write the word alpha glucose, we can write the word monosaccharide because it's a single sugar, okay? Or we can just write the word glucose. It won't hurt you if you don't put alpha on this particular one. And then the important thing, because you'll see these on the test, you will be asked to draw certain things on the test. So the important thing is to label every single thing that you draw. Did you ask a question, Wade? We're making monosaccharides. We haven't made the disaccharide yet. So if I ask you to make a disaccharide, just remember, you have to start at the beginning. For those of you who came to the study session on yesterday, one of the mistakes that they were making, they would move on and just show me the end. I don't want to see the end without the beginning. So I need to know how you got wherever it is that you're going. Okay, so this is the beginning. So in order for us to make a disaccharide, what we're going to do is perform what is called a dehydration synthesis reaction. So what does the word dehydrate mean? To take water out, okay? So to remove water, that's what we're going to do. We're going to remove water in just a second here. All right, so we now to finish drawing this guy. All right. Remember a couple days ago I asked you, or maybe it was just a day ago, I asked you to learn 4 functional groups, which I should have tested you on this morning when you came in. What were the 4 functional groups? Carboxyl group, hydroxyl group, amino group, and a phosphate group. Absolutely. All right, so in order, we said different groups did different things, right? So what is the function of, what does a hydroxyl group make? Good. Sugars, alcohols. Good. And they make things polar. Good. Because we know that if we dump some sugar into a glass of water, some crystals, is it going to dissolve? Yes. Why? Because sugar is also who? Polar. Water is who? Polar. Good. All right. So what do we have to take away? What is the empirical formula for water? H2O. So that means we're going to remove a what? What is this thing I'm circling? A what? Good. A hydroxyl. And what other thing do we need to make water? A hydrogen. Good. So I was going to circle whatever it is that we're taking away. So we are getting ready to do what? Dehydrate this by removing a hydroxyl and a hydrogen. And we know that one of the other things that we're going to need is an enzyme, because it's not that these reactions cannot take place on their own, but we usually have an enzyme that's going to do what? Help speed up these reactions that are taking place within living systems. So we know we're going to have an enzyme, but I'm just going to write on here, well, the enzyme would, actually act in this, and I'll put that up in just a minute. But anyway, so we're going to do a dehydration synthesis. What does the word synthesis mean usually? Huh? To make something. Good. So if I'm moving in this direction, what kind of reaction am I doing? I'm taking two smaller things and I'm going to make a bigger thing. So what kind of metabolism is that? Anabolism. Good. Anabolism. It's a constructive form because we're taking two smaller molecules and we're going to build a bigger molecule. We didn't do anything out here, so this just stays the same. We didn't do anything up here. Not that it can't happen, but I'm just saying we didn't. We're going to keep it real simple. We're always going to work wherever the plus sign is, okay? Now, we did do something here. Did we mess with the hydrogens up here? No, so they're going to stay there. But what was the only thing that was left near that plus sign? What's the only thing left there in that bond? Good, the oxygen. So that oxygen, what it's going to do is create what we call an oxygen bridge. So it's going to bridge the two former separate molecules that were, so you see this guy right here, this guy, so he's on that bond. Remember, that's just a covalent bond, and it's going to swing over, and these guys are going to, so it's going to be a bridge right between. Oh, wow, that's really pretty. Let me get my eraser. I don't know. Oh, that's cute. Oh, let's see, can I? Oh, yeah, let's take that out. That was pretty ugly. All right. Okay, let's try that again. I can't hear you. Wait a minute till I stop drawing. Can't hear nothing you saying. Okay, I'm sorry, what?
Besides, on your second drawing, besides the plus, the H, the circle, is that just an oversized?
You mean right here? Yeah, this is an oxygen, because remember there was a hydroxyl group there and there's a hydroxyl group here, but the only thing that we took away was the hydrogen, and that leaves an oxygen. Okay? Huh? Correct. Okay, so I'm missing a hydrogen up here. Oxygen bridge. Now, we need to name this bond. The chemical name for this bond is a glycosidic bond. The common name for it is an oxygen bridge. You need to know both. Now, how much water did we take away? How many? How many? 1. H2O, how's that 2? That's 1. So H2O. Okay, so we want to name this. So we had glucose plus glucose, and start knowing these names, or we can call it a monosaccharide. You don't have to write all this. You can write whatever you want, but I would suggest that you learn both names, so the terminology is all all this is fitting in the category of the carbohydrates. What is this big thing up here? What is this called? What is this guy? Beautiful, disaccharide. So it says all that made a disaccharide. What other name can we call it? It's maltose. It's a sugar found in beer. Okay? So glucose plus glucose makes maltose. Yes, sir. Oh, oxygen bridge. Is that the word you were looking for? Okay. It's the name of the bond. So now look, so every single carbohydrate molecule, every single one will have a glycosidic bond or an oxygen bridge, okay? Every last one of them. So that's a characteristic bond that we'll find in carbohydrate molecules. So, yes, sir. Glycosidic bond. Okay? So we said this is the common name, this is the chemical name for that bond. Okay? All right, what if I asked you to create me a polysaccharide? What would you do? So what? So we put 3 glucose. How many waters will we have? 2. All right, let me see you do that right quick. I'm coming to look. So it shouldn't take you but a second. All right, so here we go for some more. All right, so then this tells you the disaccharide that we just created. Says we can make a double sugar. It says those guys are often transported in plants. It says we made who? Maltose, which is used in beer making. It says maltose is consisted of who? 2 subunits of glucose. And it says anytime we're talking about one subunit, we want to call it a what? A monomer. So in the case of this, we called each one of these what? What was this called? If we use the word monomer, this is a what? Monosaccharide, correct. And then we'd add another monosaccharide and another monosaccharide. It says one of the guys that we had to also have in order to speed up the rate that this reaction would occur was a who? Enzyme. Enzymes are proteins that help speed up chemical reactions. Okay? So it says the enzyme would go in and they'd remove a who? Hydrogen off of one, hydroxyl group off of the other. In order to form what kind of bond between the two? A what? Covalent bond, and it's also called a glycosidic bond. Beautiful. So it says water is formed, but water just doesn't disappear. Okay, so it says characteristic bond that we're going to find in carbohydrate molecules is a glycosidic bond. So every carbohydrate molecule, so whether you're doing a disaccharide, a polysaccharide, like glycogen, it's still going to have those glycosidic bonds. Depending on what kind of enzyme that made this particular molecule, it says alpha glucosidase is an enzyme that's going to bond alpha glucose molecules together. Okay? Okay, so it says, what are enzymes? It says they are a class of proteins which make specific metabolic reactions take place at a much faster rate. So it's not that these reactions won't take place, but they're going to occur at a much faster pace than normal. One of the things, again, I would encourage you to watch the videos. It gets bigger than this, much bigger, much more complicated than this. But it's not hard. It's just, it'll take you a minute to get it, especially if you are already having difficulties, okay? Yes, sir. You came to class the other day, so you should know that. Right.
I was asking everybody else.
Oh, thank you. So what other kind of things are we going to make then? You were there. Don't look it up. You should know. Yes. Huh? Yeah, we're talking about study session. He came to study session the other day. Correct. Correct. All right, so we ready? All right, so it says the dehydration synthesis reaction, which is what we perform, is also called a condensation synthesis reaction. All right, it's going to be sticky wherever he was.
It's not in a wallway. It's up under everybody's chest.
Right, your shoes will stick, whoever comes in next. All right, now, it said dehydration synthesis or condensation synthesis reactions. What did you say that they did? You said they remove water, they take away water, they dehydrate. And when the dehydration synthesis takes place, it says we're going to do what? Create a bond. The word synthesis, you said another form of metabolism. What was it? Anabolism. So it says what specific things, and this is very important. You always need to know what you're taking away. You're always going to take away a what? A hydroxyl group and a hydrogen. So you're going to take away a hydroxyl group from one and a hydrogen from whatever the other molecule is. In every single reaction that we do, it will be a dehydration synthesis reaction or a hydrolysis reaction. But one is in one direction, the other one is in the other direction. So we said this was a what? Dehydration synthesis and you'll see me write reaction because it's a really quick way of doing that. But the opposite direction is what we call a hydrolysis reaction. The word hydro means what? Water. The word lysis means what? To split. So it says if we want to go in the opposite direction, I'm going to put it up in a minute. It says we have to do what? We have to split water. Well, what do we have to split water into? Somebody tell me. What will we split water into? So what? Beautiful. Hydroxyl group and a hydrogen. A hydroxyl group and a hydrogen. Let me get to that part. So it says, who sped up this reaction going this way? An enzyme. And an enzyme will also do what? Speed it up so we can do what? Break it back into these little bitty pieces. Okay? So an enzyme is always present in order to help speed up all of these different reactions. We said going in this direction, it was what? Anabolism. But if we're going to come back, it's a what? Beautiful. So catabolic reactions. If anytime you hear the word catabolic, you know you're breaking something down. It even sounds like you're breaking something down. Catabolism. Okay? All right. So it says, how would you digest a glycosidic bond? You told me. You said you're going to split water into, and we'll take one of these water molecules, but we know we got to have two because we got a long guy here. We've got a disaccharide. But it says we're going to split this guy into two things. And Jacob said it was going to be a hydroxyl group and a hydrogen. Because it says that's what we took away. Look, if I can get way back over here. Right? So it says I got to put a hydrogen back on that guy. But then on the other guy, I got to do what? Put a hydroxyl group. And then we got to break that other one. We're going to do the same thing. Uh-oh, went too far. Got to do the same thing here. Got to put a hydrogen back, and we got to put a hydroxyl group back in order to split it apart. Once we get on this side, we have what? All three separate guys. So in other words, it says, if you're looking in the intestines, not the intestines, excuse me, if you're looking in the bloodstream and you've had too much sugar and your body has used what it needs, excess is going to be stored in your muscles, okay? And it's also going to be stored in the liver. And it's going to be stored as glycogen. So the storage side of things is going to be what? This side. Excess being stored as a polymer, in your liver. But it says, okay, well, hey, I'm hungry. I don't have time to go get a Snicker bar or something to eat. So my body says, hey, I need some energy. And we know that we get energy from the breakdown of glucose. So it says, hey, I need to snap one of these things off of there. So then your body's going to release glucagon so that we can start breaking off the glucose that we stored in the liver or the glucose that we stored in your muscle. Cool beans? All right, so it says we got to put water back. But before we can put water back, we had to split water. We have to break it down. So then we show the water molecules split. Okay, so the water molecule is split. And it says, what is the name of that reaction? It is a hydrolysis reaction, RXN. We said this was, again, catabolism. The other name that you need to know, I'm not sure if I have it in there, is a cleavage reaction. Okay, we said condensation synthesis was the other name for a dehydration synthesis reaction. Oh, there it is. Also a cleavage reaction. This is probably for some, the most difficult part of the test, and it's not difficult, but because it just requires you to do a lot of drawing, okay? All righty, let's go. Polysaccharides. We've already drawn one, so we won't have to draw that again. All right, so the word poly means many. And for our sake, again, anywhere from 3 to millions of these subunits are monomers. That's what we'll consider to be a polysaccharide. Polysaccharides usually are structural molecules. So in other words, like if we were looking at a plant, cellulose is a structural molecule that's in plants. And one of the other things that we'll find out about cellulose is that we can chew a piece of paper all day. Do you ever digest it? Even if it goes through the intestines, it's going to shoot back out your back end, okay? You cannot digest paper. Why? Huh? We already said it don't break down, but why? Why can you not digest paper? Why, if you go out and eat a bunch of grass, how come you can't digest it? How come it shoots out? Why does the doctor tell you to eat lots of fiber? He tells you to eat. And did you say it's happy? The doctor tells you to eat lots of fiber. Why does he tell you to eat lots of fiber? Clean you out. Why? Okay, so how would it clean you out? If you digested it, it wouldn't clean you out, right? Because it just become more of that matter that's stuck in your colon. But why does he tell you to eat it? Because you can't digest it. But why can we not digest all those broccoli stems and things that we eat? And greens and beans. Yeah. Corn. Think about it. Eat some corn. What happened? Y'all look back in the toilet, what you see? Whole kernel corn. Staring right back at you out the toilet. Why? Dang. Y'all know exactly when you ate it too. Man, I just ate that corn this morning. Golly. Still look like corn too. So how come we can't digest it? Why? Okay, and what about cellulose? Tell me about cellulose. Why? Okay. But you're right, but, you know. Okay, cows chew all that grass and hay and stuff. Okay. How do they get the nutrients from the grass and hay and things? They're an animal. Okay, and they still an animal. I don't care, they got 115 stomachs. How come they can get some stuff from that? Why? So we already know this. 3 million subunits. Subunits, we call them monomers. Okay, everybody know that part. Nobody still answered my question. She said their stomachs are set up different. Okay. Are they? Come on. Lisa? So what? I asked it, don't break it down. You got one? Oh, I thought your hand went up. I'm sorry, I thought you went like this. Huh? Oh, she'd have read ahead. She said, because their stomachs are twisted. Now, actually, okay. Remember when we said we were going to look at different monomers of glucose, okay? Let's go on. What's the difference between this and that? Somebody look at, don't say it's got some chain sticking off the CH2, where's the, don't tell me that. Just look at one of these and one of those and tell me what's the difference. One of these, one of that. Tell me what's the difference. What's the difference? So what? No, they're all still hexagon. Don't count how many. Huh? I said, boom. She said, some have the oxygen up and some have the oxygen down. I like it. All right, look. This one, the oxygens are doing what? All up, which is what did ours look like? What did ours look like? Oh, mercy. Who said down over here? Alan said it, didn't he? Okay, look. All of ours up or down? Up. Now, do we make cellulose or glycogen? Glycogen. Are we plants or animals? All right. So look, those are rotating. Now, can somebody tell me why they think they're rotating up and down, up and down? All right. Let me put it on here. All right. I'm going to draw on the screen, I think. Let's see. Come back. Where'd you go? All right. We have what kind of glucose? Uh-oh. Golly. That's all right. We're going to make it work. I'm not going to get any erasers. What kind of glucose? Somebody told me earlier what kind. Boom. Alpha. The alpha male says alpha. So alpha glucose. So look, the key is where these N guys are, okay, y'all? What goes here? Good. All right. Plants make beta glucose. Probably should have changed the color of my pen. They still have a hole in the O, but they doing it up high, okay? They ain't doing it down low. They doing it up high, so everybody can see it, okay? All right. All right, and let me tell you what happens. You remember before when we were talking about why this OH is down here and that OH is up there? Why was it? Say it again. Good. Not enough room, right? All that electron cloud stuff going on. Well, these guys, because it's beta glucose, these hydroxyl groups are locked in the up position, okay? So now look at this. We got a lot of stuff. Let me get a different pen. So we got a lot of electron cloud stuff going on up here. So that's the reason why. Look what happens. This is down. The next one has to flip up. Does that make sense now? This one flips down. The next one flips up. The next one is down. The next one flips up. And what that does, it causes a lot of kinking and buckling in the chain. We do not have an enzyme that can link two beta glucoses together, nor do we have an enzyme that can break the bond, okay? That's the reason why we can't digest cellulose, okay? Because we don't have anything that, our bodies don't make anything that can digest it. So that's the reason why you can chew that spit wad, because you know most glucose, sugar breakdown begins in the mouth. You don't get nothing from it except for whatever dye or chemical they use to bleach the paper. See, that's all you tasting. But as far as like nutrient, you don't get jack from it. You spit it at the ceiling and stay there forever until somebody comes along and knocks it down, okay? All right. So, no. So why do they eat grass? There's another chemical. Right, and it helps with the vomit, whatever, something. All right, here we go. We already know this, 2 common polysaccharides. All right, here we go, cellulose. All right, so we said major structural body in plants, composed of who? Beta glucose units. And we said it's kinked and it's twisted. We cannot digest it, okay? We cannot make it, nor can we digest it. We cannot make the enzyme, nothing to put it together. We can't make an enzyme to break it apart. So now somebody tell me cows, they have what? They're called the what kind of species? Starts with the R. The ruminant species, and they have bacteria that actually does it for them. They don't do it, but there's bacteria in their stomachs that helps with breaking that down. Okay? Now, glycogen says that's how we store excess glucose in our tissues. Says all the bonds are oriented in the same direction. Oh, that was it? Oh, thought I had more to say about it than that. Okay, so this is all where? Online, so if you miss it, Go back and write it down from online. All right, we ready to move on? Yes? All right. All right, the lipids. Oh boy, here we go. All right, these guys, the fats, the oils, the waxes, and the steroids. Okay? Fats, oils, waxes, and steroids. We know that these guys are basically what? In water. Insoluble. We talked about it the other day. You can throw water and oil together and shake them up, but they are going to separate as long as you sit them down and not keep moving them. So it says, we know that these guys are considered to be what? Hydrophobic. They are hydrophobic. What does the word hydro mean? And what does phobic mean? Good. So these are water-fearing molecules. They don't want to be next to water. They don't want water surround. They don't want none of that. So they always arrange themselves in a way that they try to put their parts that really dislike water away from the water. All right, so there are 5 general functions of lipids: long-term energy storage, insulation. So especially when you have a brand new baby, babies have a lot of subcutaneous fat, okay? And this is to help keep them warm. Padding, you'll find padding around the heart. I know when you think about fat, you think nobody should have any fat anywhere, but you got to have some fat, okay? Especially if you're thinking about a woman, she's got to have some fat, or her even trying to produce a baby won't even be so healthy. You've got to have some fat in your diet. A lot of the vitamins that you take in, they won't even dissolve unless there's some fat around. So we got to have some fat. But anyway, padding behind the eyes. If you've ever noticed anybody that's close to death, how their eyes sink all the way back in their head, because that's one of the first places that fat will actually start to be ate away. Cell membranes. Every single cell is made up of phospholipids. So cell membranes, big place that we're going to find fats. And then they also act as hormones. So in order for men to have this pronounced Adam's apple, here's a huge one, pronounced Adam's apple, and and for men to have usually larger feet, hairy legs, and things, it says why? Because the hormone. What's the hormone, guys? Testosterone, absolutely. Okay, for women, what's your hormone? Estrogen, absolutely, makes her all soft and supple and everything. Y'all like rubbing on her leg and everything. All right. So types of lipids that we want to talk about. We want to talk about the triglycerides. Yes. Wait, we're coming. Wait, we're coming. All right. Then ask it. Don't forget, write down you want to write a question about steroids. All right, triglycerides. They are used for storage, insulation, and padding. And there's more than one type of steroid. And then we're going to have the phospholipids. We said these guys make up great cell membranes. And then we said the steroids. We said these guys are hormones or chemical messengers that signal different things. Did you want to ask it now? Wait till we get to steroids.
Like when you take steroids for like working out or whatnot, in since like one male might produce more testosterone than another male.
But that's a go on. That's.
Why if you took some, why wouldn't it be just good in moderation?
But
why couldn't it be good in moderation?
Right. We're going to talk about totally different steroid. You're talking about anabolic steroids. That's different than testosterone. We're going to talk about it. It's coming. Yeah. Correct. Right. What is Wade saying in the back, y'all? I couldn't hear it because he talking in the front. What did he say, y'all? That's true. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know what was going on. I was like, I just heard everybody laughing. I knew he had said something. Well, that's the same thing with men. They do what? They do estrogen to make them all soft and supple. So, but we'll talk about your steroids, okay? So you'll know the difference between what you're talking about and what we're talking about, okay? All right, triglycerides. Let's do a little something so y'all have a little introduction before y'all go home today on these guys. Insoluble in water due to a hydrocarbon chain. Somebody tell me what's a hydrocarbon chain? Chain of hydrogens and carbons. I like it. Okay? This looks like 5 to me. Is that 5? Yes. All right. All right. So a hydrocarbon chain. Somebody tell me, why is that hydrocarbon chain insoluble in water? Tell me why it's insoluble in water. Right, but why? What? I heard something. Right, it's saturated. That's good. But somebody tell me, why is this not soluble in water? So what? You want to say something? Go and say it. I ain't come closer. You want to yell it out. Go ahead.
Polarity?
Is there polarity or no polarity?
No polarity.
She said, because there's no polarity. I like it. Ding, 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 ding. Every carbon, every hydrogen has the exact same draw on the electrons. There is no polarity. I heard there's no oxygen stuck in it. That's correct. So that means that these don't have what? Any charges, right? So that means it does not dissolve in water. Good. All right, so who's in this category? Butter. Everybody loves butter on their bread. Lard, not on your bread. Vegetable oils. It says these guys consist mostly of who? Triglycerides. So when you go to the doctor's trying to figure out how much of this stuff you've been eating and how much is it running around in your bloodstream that might cause you to have a later possible attack of some sort, possibly. All right, or to see if your arteries have a possibility of being clogged based on this kind of stuff. All right, so it says triglycerides are made up of 3 fatty acids attached to who? A glycerol. So it says, well, what's a fatty acid? Well, we know the hydrocarbon chain makes it fatty, but I gave you 4 functional groups the other day, and one of them makes things acidic. Which one makes things acidic? Carboxyl group. Good. So on the end of this guy, he has a C double bonded to an O with a who? A hydroxyl group. So this is a carboxyl group. So this makes it a what? A fatty who? Acid. A fatty acid. So the whole thing is a what? A fatty acid. No, a carboxyl group is stuck on a who? Hydrocarbon chain in order to make a what? Fatty acid. Says the other thing that you need was a glycerol. And a glycerol, what is that? You've heard that word, the little suffix all. What does that sound like? Who? Glycerol. What kind of molecule is it? Glycerol. Right, and hydroxyls make what? Alcohol. So glycerol is a what? Alcohol. A 3-carbon alcohol. So 1, 2, 3 carbon alcohol. Three-carbon alcohol called glycerol. Okay? All right, so when we come back on, no, we're not done. We have 5 minutes. You know, I like to use every last bit of my time. All of it. All right, I'm going to set this up, and then I want you guys to finish it at home. All right, I'm going to set it up. You guys finish it. Here we go. All right, here we go. Okay, y'all, we're going to be creating, why do I hear talking? We're going to create a triglyceride. Are y'all talking? Why are you talking? Asaya? That's what I said the first time. You're just doing a lot of talking. Be quiet. All right. I feel like Michael Jackson. I'ma say, Mama say. Anybody know what Michael Jackson was saying in that song? Because I don't know. I'm just saying. Don't beat me up. I'm just joking, you know. But I felt a little Michael Jackson coming on in my spirit. Somebody, Brianka, don't get me in trouble. All right, here we go. All right. It says a triglyceride is a glycerol, which is a 3-carbon alcohol plus who? 3 who? 3 what? Fatty acids. I love it. So I probably should give myself a little bit more room. Y'all probably need to turn y'all papers to the side. I do apologize. But anyway. So we got a carboxyl group that's always facing that glycerol. That C double bonded O and this OH followed by I had 5, so that makes a total of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We always have to have an even number of carbons in the chain. Okay. I'm going to do 3 on this one because I done got tired. Okay, so y'all can do, you know, however how many y'all want, as long as it's total of 4. See, you know, it's got to have an even number. And then I'm probably going to get even less on that last one because I'm really trying to, I don't have much time left. So, yep, we done ran out. There you go. All righty. So then we're going to follow this with what kind of reaction that we've always done? Dehydration synthesis reaction. What am I going to take away, y'all? Okay, what am I going to take away specifically? Hydroxyl group and a who? Hydrogen, and then a hydroxyl group and a hydrogen, and then a hydroxyl group and a hydrogen. Y'all finish it at home. I want to see it when you come back. Hope you have a lovely weekend.